In this movie, a family's attempt at a peaceful new beginning turns into a nightmare when their new house starts copying them, warping their emotions, and pushing them toward violence. The story opens late at night with Monica asleep in her bedroom while the rest of the home sinks into uneasy silence. A sudden tug at her blanket wakes her, followed by a rough pull at her hair. She looks up and sees her father, John, standing over the bed with an expression that feels empty and wrong. He does not explain himself or comfort her. He only watches her with a strange intensity, then leaves her shaking under the covers, wondering whether she imagined it or whether something inside him has changed. Morning arrives with the familiar routines of breakfast and school preparations, but the air in the home feels tense, as though a storm is trapped indoors. Monica's mother cooks while Monica sits nearby, debating whether to tell her what happened. Her younger siblings wander in, still sleepy, and John joins them at the table with calm manners. He behaves like a normal father, joking softly and moving through the room as if the night never occurred. Monica watches him closely, unsettled by the ease of his performance. She cannot endure the pretense and excuses herself, retreating to her room rather than eating with everyone else. At the table, another unsettling shift occurs. Monica's mother begins eating with frantic urgency, shoveling food into her mouth as if she has been starving for years. The children stare in disbelief. Monica's little brother complains that the meal tastes painfully salty, and he spits it out. Instead of stopping, their mother keeps eating and tries to force him to eat too. Her irritation turns explosive. She slams dishes, scatters food across the table, and insists that everyone will eat whatever she decides to serve. The sudden cruelty does not match who she usually is, and the children sit frozen, confused, and afraid. The audience learns that these disturbances began after the family moved into this house. Since arriving, strange incidents have stacked up like bad omens. On some mornings, they find dead animals hanging outside, as if someone wants to scare them away. Other times, they discover a doll dangling in the garden, swinging in the wind like a warning sign. At night, the house creaks with footsteps that never belong to the right person, and doors open and close with no wind. A cold mood spreads through the rooms, and each family member senses that something is learning their habits, their voices, and their weaknesses. Later, Monica showers to calm down, but even behind steam and running water, she feels watched. She senses someone behind her through the fogged mirror and her heart races. When she wipes the glass clear, she sees her younger sister Lily standing there, anxious and impatient. Lily urges Monica to finish quickly and come back to the bedroom. Once they are alone, the sisters compare what they have noticed. Lily admits that nearly every night she senses someone entering her room, hovering near the bed, and leaving before she can react. The idea that the house is targeting the children makes Monica's fear turn into determination. Their discussion is interrupted when John appears in the doorway. He has overheard enough to react like an intruder rather than a parent. A knife glints in his hand, and he surges forward. Monica grabs Lily and bolts into the hallway, but the house seems to rearrange itself, shortening distances and blocking exits. Within moments, John is in front of them. He seizes Monica and throws her with brutal strength. She crashes into the floor and blacks out. Lily drops beside her, crying and trying to wake her, but John turns away, as if deciding what to do next. Monica regains consciousness in a haze and staggers upright, calling for Lily. She barely has time to move before John appears behind her with the hammer raised. Lily rushes in and strikes him with a heavy metal pan. The blow should stop a normal man, yet John barely reacts, as if pain is an idea he has forgotten. He swings. Lily dodges. The hammer smashes into the doorframe and sticks there. Then the sisters hear footsteps climbing the stairs from below, slow and unmistakable. Another John is coming up. The sight of a second father breaks reality for a heartbeat. The attacking John drops the hammer and slips away, vanishing as if he was never solid. The John arriving from downstairs looks shocked by the destruction and terrified by his daughter's panic. He tries to step closer, but Monica and Lily recoil, unable to decide which face is real. Their younger brother appears, half asleep, drawn by the noise. Monica urges him to run, sensing that even a child can be copied and used. Before anyone can calm down, a woman enters and picks up the hammer. She looks exactly like their mother, yet her eyes are colder and her posture predatory. John tries to stop her, but she swings at him with furious speed. He dodges and falls. She steps over shattered glass without flinching, as if her body is wearing the mother's shape but not her limits. She advances toward the daughters, intent on harming them, and John forces himself up and shields them, refusing to let her close. A sound from downstairs distracts the woman, and she withdraws into a bedroom, shutting the door behind her. Seconds later, the real mother rushes upstairs, horrified by the chaos and desperate to protect her children. Confusion becomes panic. The family opens the bedroom where the threatening mother hid, but the room is empty. No attacker, no footprints, no explanation. Monica and Lily stare at their mother, unable to trust her fully after seeing a perfect copy. Even comfort feels dangerous, because the house has proven it can replicate anyone. John's desperation grows into obsession. He calls his brother Harry, a priest who has dealt with unusual spiritual cases. Harry arrives and listens carefully to what the family has experienced. He explains that some places can become infected by a presence that feeds on fear, imitates loved ones, and uses confusion to push people towards self-destruction. John resists the idea, clinging to practical explanations, but the mimicry and the impossible duplication make denial harder. Harry insists that everyone sleep together in one room so no one is isolated, and the entity has fewer opportunities to manipulate them. That night, they gather in a single room under a weak lamp, surrounded by uneasy shadows. Monica lies awake, counting every creak and breath. Her little brother wakes, needing the bathroom, and slips out. Moments later, a boy who looks exactly like him enters the room holding a knife. The copy wears a wide, unnatural smile, as if it is borrowing childhood as a disguise. It approaches Harry's bed with careful steps, then pauses, hesitating as though something unseen restrains it. The knife lowers. The figure disappears into darkness. Harry wakes with a sharp sense that something entered the room even though his eyes find nothing. The next day, Harry calls his senior clergy for help, admitting the situation may be beyond a single priest. The seniors agree to come and pray over the house. They travel together, but on the road a swarm of crows attacks their car. Birds slam into the windshield like living stones, cracking it into webs. Glass bursts inward. The vehicle swerves and crashes violently. Most of the clergy die at the scene, and the few who survive are left bleeding on the roadside as sirens approach. The message is clear: the force haunting the house will not allow outside help to arrive easily. Back at the house, the presence grows bolder. John becomes convinced that the problem must be solved immediately, even if it requires harsh measures. He restrains Monica to the bed, believing that concentrating the ritual on her will draw out whatever is haunting them. Monica's mother protests, but John's fear has turned rigid and controlling. Harry staggers into the house covered in blood from the crash, and reports that the senior priests are dead. He is shaken, because a previous encounter with possession ended with people he loved. Yet he agrees to continue, believing delay will only make the entity stronger. Harry begins a ritual around Monica. Candles are lit. Holy water is sprinkled. Prayers fill the room with desperate rhythm. A cross pendant is placed against Monica's chest. Monica reacts violently, screaming and thrashing, and Harry interprets it as proof of possession. He uses a rod to strike her as part of the rite, treating pain as a weapon against the unseen. John watches, torn between paternal love and frantic belief, and chooses to continue. The blows intensify until Monica collapses into unconsciousness, and her mother's horror turns into fury. Far away, police rescue a badly injured priest from the crash car. As officers pull him free, the damaged vehicle suddenly explodes, killing what little hope remains. Investigators later identify a burned body among the wreckage that seems to match Harry, along with items that belong to him. The implication is chilling: the Harry inside the house cannot be real. The entity has been wearing his face, using religion as camouflage for cruelty. Inside, the false Harry continues the ritual with cold confidence, feeding on suffering. Monica's mother cannot tolerate it any longer. She rushes in, tries to stop the violence, and protects her daughter. John, overwhelmed and confused, turns on his wife and begins choking her, his hands closing as if guided by something outside him. Then he snaps back to himself, eyes clearing, and he sees the false Harry laughing with an inhuman rhythm. In that instant, John understands that the demon is not inside Monica. The demon is in the room, shaping everyone's choices, and it has been steering them toward killing one another. John attacks, but the false Harry flings him aside with unnatural strength and moves in to finish him. At the last possible moment, the real Harry appears, alive, battered, and furious, having escaped the crash and fought his way back. He begins chanting protective prayers and forces the entity to flicker. The false Harry vanishes like smoke, but the spirit slips into Monica, using her body as a hiding place. Monica rises with stiff, controlled movements, her eyes unfocused, and walks toward another room as if pulled by strings. The real Harry drags a mirror in front of Monica, using reflection to expose what is concealed. The demon recoils and is forced out, pouring from her like dark breath. Harry makes a final sacrifice by drawing the spirit into himself, becoming its prison. He signals John that the only way to destroy it is to kill the host before the demon escapes again and returns to slaughter the family. John is shattered, but he acts. He drives the cross into Harry's chest, ending his brother's life and sealing the demon's fate. The air changes immediately. The pressure lifts. The house falls silent in a way it has not been since the family arrived. Monica wakes later, weak but alive. Her mother survives, bruised and trembling. The children cling together, rediscovering safety through touch and tears. John collapses under grief, yet he also feels relief that his family has survived. In the aftermath, the family steps into daylight and leaves the house behind. They understand that what hunted them did not merely want bodies, it wanted trust to rot from the inside. They carry scars, but they also carry the truth that courage and sacrifice ended the mimicry. Weeks later, the family still startles at shadows, but they learn to trust one another again, slowly, patiently, daily. The film closes with the family walking away together, grateful to still be a family, even as the memory of the house lingers like a cold stain in the mind.